on an all-new episode of This versus That.
As long as there have been people living together in cities, there has been congestion.
We answer the question, what's the faster way to maneuver through traffic? Stay in your lane or weave in and out. And later, who not to invite to your next wine tasting party? As we reveal why red wine is the toughest stain.
Oh, right in the flavonoid.
Plus, when your highway speed suddenly goes from 70 to 20 for no good reason, yeah, we'll explain that.
You're dying. You're suffocating.
What is This versus That? It's the show that uses science to investigate questions everyone seems to have.
Blackjack or crap? Can I buy a hybrid car? Use a life vest or the seat
But
cushion?
no one else can seem to answer.
Not it.
And these are your guys. There's Mark DiCarlo,
Dwarves, druids, a murder of crows.
Chris Tallman,
Sleeping.
and Brad Sherwood. They're armed with the most reliable information. They'll conduct experiments,
I can't feel my fingertips.
speak with the experts,
Come on, guys, why aren't I in the shot?
and discover the facts. You might call them scientists,
You are an idiot.
but don't. Mostly, they're comedians.
That's the most important thing about a water landing. Try and do it close to the shore.
And yet, at the end of each episode, your questions will be answered. And the right decision for you to make will ultimately be revealed.
Oh! I'm not sure what we proved, but we did it.
This versus That.
Welcome to This versus That. In 2010, Americans drove over 3 trillion miles. That's about 1,000 miles per person. Now, hold on a second, Bradley. We stopped 10 minutes ago to pee. We're not stopping. Now, in America's top 10 cities, Americans waste over 56 hours a year stopped in traffic. Where's Tallman?
That's what I was trying to tell you.
This lotion protects my skin from harmful UV rays and car exhaust.
What the? The other lane's moving faster.
Oh, fair enough.
We have to get there by the end of the show.
I peed.
I think the most frustrating thing about LA traffic is whether or not it's really worth it. It really is opposite of how I want to live my life.
This is Riel. She works in public relations in Los Angeles and is no stranger to the daily nightmare that is a big city commute. And after 10 years of dealing with LA's notorious traffic, she's getting fed up.
I don't want to be surrounded by concrete and exhaust and strangers, and here I am, sitting in this hours and hours and hours of my life. It makes me question all of my choices.
So, it may go without saying that Riel's main concern is figuring out the fastest way to get where she's going.
In order to reduce the time in traffic, I will lane switch. I definitely swerve in and out of traffic, going to lanes that seem to be moving faster.
It's every commuter's dilemma. Is switching lanes really a better strategy for getting to your destination faster? Could it be possible that it's better to stay in your lane? Or to take surface streets? This versus That is about to find out. It's weave versus stay in lane versus surface streets. So, we'll be testing each method by sending our hosts in 3 separate vehicles. Stretch limos, actually. Because, well, it's in their contracts. Mark DiCarlo will be in this black limo.
I believe the fastest way to get where you're going during a hairy commute like this is just to pick a lane and go. So that's what I'm doing.
Chris Tallman will be in this white limo.
In my limo, every time we see another lane that's moving faster, we're gonna get over there. If it's 1 to the left, go. If it's 2 to the right, we're gonna cut over. We're not breaking any rules, but we are gonna try and get there as fast as we can.
And Brad Sherwood is gonna be in the second black limo.
And I am going to be taking surface streets. I want to avoid the freeway altogether because that's where all the slow lemmings drone their way to their 9-to-5 jobs. It's going to be, I drew the short straw.
Our test will begin on LA's infamous 405 Freeway North. We'll take that to the 101 freeway south and make our way to the 134 freeway east. We'll get off at Pass Avenue and come to a stop in this parking lot. It's a common commuting route. Hundreds of thousands of drivers make this 14.7-mile journey every day. But when we're done, we'll be able to tell them the fastest way to make it happen.
Why have we chosen to go on the 405 to the 101 to the 134?
Other than the fact that you live like 2 blocks from here, convenient.
Yeah, not cool, man. It's because this interchange from the 405 north to the 101 is like the most busiest interchange in America.
Most busiest.
That's busy.
For those of you that don't live in California or don't understand what Chris is talking about, this equation will help you understand the traffic that we're about to enter.
It's like waiting in line at the DMV.
Plus waiting for the cable guy.
Times waiting for the chocolate chip cookies to come out of the oven when you can already smell them.
Times slamming your finger in a car door.
Twice.
Equals this interchange.
I will scream at the top of my lungs. I will bang on the steering wheel. I will shake. I have done everything to try to alleviate some of the stress that the traffic creates.
This versus that to the rescue. It's time to start the most talked about, most anticipated, the biggest, the sexiest, the most dangerous event in Los Angeles highway history. If you don't count OJ. Gentlemen, start your engines. We're underway, and as the limos race to the epicenter of traffic hell, it's time to let you know our hosts aren't riding alone. Why? Because if they were, the race would be as interesting as, well, watching traffic. So, Mark's riding with the members of his band.
Did you take a look at the link that I sent you so you know what the show is about? Anybody? No. All right, great.
They're going to attempt to write an original song while stuck in traffic.
Ideally, we should make it a theme song for the show so that we can all make a lot of money because it'll be on the show every week.
Meanwhile, Chris is riding with the hostesses from Hamburger Mary's popular drag queen bingo night in West Hollywood.
B-I-N-G-O, B-I-N-G-O, and bingo was his name. Oh, bingo!
And Brad is playing host to a pair of highly caffeinated recent college grads.
We saw them putting their hands in the handprints at Grauman's Chinese Theater. We're going to run a little game show with them. I have a list of impressions. I will do them one by one, and for every one that you two get right, you're going to win $5.
Woo! Yeah!
With the limos now on the road, let's get some expert perspective on what we'll be seeing.
Basically, as long as there have been people living together in cities, there has been congestion.
Tom Vanderbilt is the author of the New York Times bestseller, Traffic, Why We Drive the Way We Do. Full disclosure, in exchange for appearing on this program, we had to show him the house where Paula Abdul lives.
Julius Caesar was famous for trying to control traffic in ancient Rome and failed. There were too many carts entering the city during the day. They were driving people crazy. He passed a law that they could only come in at night. That created noise problems. So as long as there have been cities, people want to get together, they need to go places, there's going to be traffic. As cities continue to grow more crowded, we're only going to see a lot more of this.
So what causes traffic? Other than all the idiots who don't know how to effing drive? It's a long list.
First and foremost is just too many cars trying to occupy too little space at the same time. But even beyond that, you have situations like crashes or disabled vehicles, which we see every morning. This has been estimated to account for about 1/3 of all traffic congestion. Another reason traffic happens is because something unusual happens on the highway. So we're probably attracting drivers looking at us. They're going to look at us, they're going to take their foot off the gas for a minute, they're going to slow down, or they may even crash because they're distracted.
And there's more.
The standardization of our work schedule.
The highway wasn't built for everyone to be on it simultaneously.
Too many entrance ramps.
More cars merging into free-flowing traffic.
Results in those cars having to slow down.
Construction.
Sure, reducing the number of lanes slows traffic.
But so does slowing down so that your dog can bark at the guy working the steamroller.
When cars have more safety features, drivers drive more recklessly.
It's the law of unintended stupidity.
When we're tired, hungry, anxious, or have to pee, we make impulsive and dangerous decisions. Like pissing on my leg. Sorry.
And here in Los Angeles,
Some 12% of traffic accidents are
are caused by drivers using their rearview mirror.
to check their fake boobs.
I'm looking at you, Mom.
Drivers are too easily distracted and think of driving as mundane as opposed to complicated.
Think of everything you see in a mile of driving. You're anticipating your own actions. You're trying to interact with the actions of other drivers. You're trying to estimate risk. You're trying to make decisions.
People treat driving as sort of a secondary activity to whatever they're doing. They're talking to their kids, or they're talking on the phone, or they're listening to the radio. They tend to drive like they have no idea what's going on. They, will leave way too big of spaces or put on their brakes too much, so it makes all the cars behind them not know how to drive.
Meanwhile, back at the race, Chris and Mark's limos made it to the intersection of the 101 and 405. Having already traveled 5.5 miles, they're separated by just a few seconds. Coming up, our highway traffic experiment comes to a screeching halt. In a good way. Plus, we reveal the dirty truth behind cleaning supplies. Not all of them are good at removing stains.